naturally a very happy, outgoing person. So I feel like when I talk about mental health, I'm still smiling, I'm still laughing. Like, yes, obviously what I went through like sucked, and I would never wish that on anybody. I went through that, and like, look where I am now. Like, if I went through that, like, what else can I conquer? Hi, my name is Augustina Ampofo. I am a youth advisor at CAMH, and I support the Youth Engagement Initiative. Back in 2012, I went through an episode of psychosis and depression, and I was hearing voices for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for over 9 months straight. And it was the scariest and loneliest time of my life. I had a lot of very suicidal thoughts. Psychosis happens to a lot of people. Essentially, they've designed some care services that focus on that, and I think the research proves that early intervention is the best. So I was very lucky that I got in. So I only had to wait, I think it was about 2 or 3 months before I got into the program. And that was like the hardest 2 to 3 months of my life. And I was like, no, one more day, one more day. But there were some days where I was like, okay, today's the day. Like, maybe today's the day that I'm gonna just, kill myself. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through today. Again, that stigma, like, oh, your daughter hears voices, or oh, your daughter was suicidal, or like, what's wrong with you, or what's wrong with your parenting? Like, did you not raise her well? And it has nothing to do with that, right? Like, psychosis can literally happen to anybody. If I told like people I had cancer, it'd be different. Or if I told people like, oh yeah, I broke my leg, like I need to stay home, it's different versus, oh, I'm hearing voices today, like I need to rest or something. Because people don't understand, because the education is not there, right? The first one started when I was at work. It just sounded like a little voice in my ear. And I at first thought it was one of my coworkers that was like playing a trick on me. And so I was like looking around the corner like, okay, like who's talking to me? But there was no one there. The voices persistently got louder and louder. And at that point I was like, I don't know if I should tell anybody, like, hey, am I like actually hearing voices? Is this really happening to me? But at that point, I basically was already in psychosis and I didn't know it. But then they got louder and louder. And then I started acting more strange at work. I couldn't focus on anything because I was just scared that I would hear another voice. Next thing you know, I was at the hospital, and then my sister got called and she came in and she was very upset. She didn't want me to be there, but the doctors knew that I was in psychosis at that point. So they decided that they were going to admit me. So they took me to another hospital, and I was there for a few days. And then we flew back to Ontario, and then I was enrolled in the early psychosis intervention program. And through that, I basically learned about what psychosis was, what I was going through, what triggered it. And basically I had therapy, and it was honestly the best program ever. I had a social worker, an occupational therapist, a nurse, and a psychiatrist, basically like a whole care team. I didn't really want to try medication. I did for a bit, but I didn't feel like they were the right fit for me. So I moved towards more of like a holistic route, and they were very encouraging, and same with my family and friends. And they were like, yeah, you should paint and you should dance again. Because I used to dance a lot, and that was one thing that the depression and psychosis kind of took away from me. Yeah, like I remember my dad being like, oh, like remember, like you used to love to dance, like maybe you should start dancing again. And I was like, okay, like maybe I'll try. And at first it was difficult. So I would just like put on music and I would, just move, and the voice would be like, oh God, is that how you dance? Like, and at this point I started talking back to them because I was like, I'm not taking this anymore. So I started doing that, and then I started to find my passion again, and I started to feel happy to, be like, yeah, I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna dance. Because I used to dance for hours when I was a kid, like hours. My dad would play like Michael Jackson concert videos or Madonna or whatever. And I would just literally stand in front of the TV and I'd just be like, 5, 6, 7. And the thing that I love about art, especially, is like, it's subjective. It's you. It's whatever you love to do. It doesn't, like I think I'm Picasso. I mean, I'm not, but like to me, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's a really good piece you painted there, Augustina. Like, I really like that. I have to toot my own horn. That also helps like my self-esteem and the way that I feel. And so it's just like therapeutic and awesome. And I love doing it. And I think that's something that's really important, is that people need to understand that you can take medication, but maybe you also need to dance a bit. Or maybe, you take a bit of your medication and then you also can paint. We all struggle. We all go through things. Again, like we're human. We're not robots. Mental illness can happen to anybody. Anybody of any age, any country, any gender, anything. It can happen to you.